Welcome to the Selling Show, where we unpack, repack, and break down exactly how CEOs, founders, and senior executives sell their ideas, point of view, and personal brand to the people who matter most. This is your host, David Newman, and you are in the right place if you want to build market eminence, amplify your influence, and attract high-value prospects, investors, partners, talent, and media opportunities with less chasing and more confidence. Let's go. You know you need video, and you're probably saying to yourself, I have video. I do video. Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't, but I'll tell you what you don't do. You're not turning your story into strategic video content that multiplies your marketing results. Lucky for you, Mr. Ryan Koral is here from Tell Studios, tellstudios.com. Ryan, welcome to the show.
You're a great hype man. Thank you for having me. This is I'm certain this is going to be a fun time.
This is all hype all the time, dude. Are you kidding me? This is why we're here. This is amazing. So for people that don't know, could you please share just a very quick recap of your professional journey that brought you to the work that you're doing today? And what were some fun pit stops along the way?
Oh gosh, a lot of pit stops. I've been doing this kind of work professionally for over 20 years. I was at a mastermind retreat a couple of weeks ago, and one of the questions that everybody had to answer when we first got there was like, hey, share, what did you do before you're doing what you are currently doing? And I was like, mine is so boring because I went to this tiny little Christian college. I got hired by the school. I worked there for 2 years after I graduated, convinced my boss to buy me a video camera and a computer so I could start telling stories of things that were happening on campus to get other people interested in the school. And then eventually was like, I just want to do video. So I left the school, started my business. That was my first real job. And this is my second real job. And it's been, easy peasy since day one, running a business. That's just like,
yeah, totally. As with most of my guests, smooth sailing, straight line, no problems.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
no
Ryan,
problems.
Thanks for being on the show. And this was a lot of fun.
Good night.
Shortest episode we've ever done. Instant success story. All right. Well, let's dig in. Okay. We don't need to go to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
But
I'll say one of the biggest defining moments as I stepped into this work. I did it at first because I was like, I got to make stuff. I was creating. I got to play with people's emotions. I got to tell these beautiful stories. And it was really fun to watch people watch the stuff that I was making and to get the compliments and then to get better as a creator and a filmmaker and a storyteller. And shortly after I was getting going, my wife and I were newly married. 2 months after that, my dad gave us the news that doctors gave him the news that he had 6 months to live. He had really aggressive form of cancer, didn't even last 6 months. And the last couple of months of his life, my relationship with him, really rocky growing up, divorced home. We lived with him. He worked midnights, never around. I kind of raised myself and that was kind of ugly, but I survived. And my relationship with him was not great. As I was getting into my business, about 6 months into it, a friend asked me if I wanted to shoot a wedding. He knew I was doing video stuff and I was doing a little bit of everything, and I hadn't shot a wedding. And I said yes to the opportunity. I'm there filming this thing and seeing something that this family doesn't see. I was married probably about a year before that. And all I could think was, I wish I had video of my dad. Back then, no, people didn't have cell phones. People weren't taking video with cell phones. So the extra, all of the photos and all of the video, I just didn't have anything of my dad. And as my relationship with him healed, toward the end of his life, I just wanted more moments with him, to talk about real stuff that mattered. And I left that wedding, that whole experience of filming that, giving that gift to the family of hey, here is more than just a wedding video. This is a legacy piece, for you and your family to, every year that goes by, this thing is going to become more and more valuable. And I kind of realized that was my mission from the very beginning of launching this business, was that I wanted to tell stories, and whether or not people knew that their story was anything special, I had believed from then, and probably before then, that everybody has a story, and it's just it's just our day to day. So it doesn't seem anything extraordinary to us. And for me to help people and business owners and families uncover and unpack those stories, and to tell them in a way that, are true, authentic, honest, super meaningful. And, fast forward all these years later, we've been working with businesses almost since the start of the business, to help them, get more sales, save time, get better hires, enjoy the work, do more impactful work. That's the kind of work that we get to do today. And yeah, my belief in the power of storytelling has just increased over the years, and it's just been fun to be able to tell the stories that we get to.
So good. So good. I want to dig into a couple of things related to what you just said, because unlike a lot of video production companies, video producers, you really specialize in a couple of different very cool formats that people perhaps they don't know that they need. But as soon as you explain it to them, or as soon as you share what it is, they're like, oh my God, that would be so cool. That's a huge missing piece. We have no way of doing that. We have no way of communicating that in a consistent way. So talk a little bit about the one thing that really jumped out at me. It's probably not your favorite thing to talk about, but I'll start there because it's fascinating to me. FAQ videos. What the heck is up with FAQ videos? Because I was looking at this going, oh my God, that would be so incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
So let's start there, and then we'll go to some of your favorites.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, what is he going to pull up here? That FAQ is the least sexy of all of the videos that we do.
I realize that, but we got to get people salivating first, and then we'll get them the steak later on.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you would like to not repeat yourself on every discovery call that you ever have.
Whoop, 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 right here.
Yeah. It's like when you start adding up the time where you share the same, your process, all this stuff. And some of those things have to happen on a call. But if you can pre-qualify people, if you can equip people with things that they need to know before they even book a call with you, for them to realize, nope, that's not what we need. Nope, this isn't. It's like, man, having run a business for so long, having had those same conversations over and over and over, before somebody books a call, prior to hopping on a call, we can send them the top 5 or the top 10 questions that they need to know, so that when it's time for us to get on the call, we can just get to the stuff that really matters. And we don't have to talk about all the stuff that, it's just like, yeah, this is how long it takes to make a video, and this is what the and it's like, yeah, that stuff it's important to know, but like, tell me about why now? Like what's burning inside of you, and what happens if you don't do this thing? Like, that's the stuff that I want to be in conversation about, not like, okay, yeah, we deliver 1920 by 1080, 16:9. We can do vertical, it's like, yeah, obviously. So the biggest time saver, and these are the easiest videos you can, definitely hire Tell Studios, but you can do these on your own. You don't need a production company. Grab your iPhone, and this is what I always say. If you have any kind of a sales script or talking points or things that you always talk about on a call, write down what are the top 3 things, or what are the top 5, or maybe you can think of 10 things, and then record a 30 to 90 second, when you're on these discovery calls, you close your eyes and you just like recite the things, because the cadence and the messaging and all that stuff. Yeah. So film you doing that. Doesn't need to be sexy. Doesn't need to be, doesn't need to be fancy or anything. It just needs to be done. And then you can save so much time. And the other thing that you're doing is you're building some rapport, right? If you can show up on camera, you don't have to be as obnoxious as me. You can be like way cool, whatever your personality is, because at the end of the day, depending on how your business is set up, if people are going to be working with you at some level, for me, I want people to know that I'm a goofball, that I'm sarcastic. I think I'm funny, all of these things, so that if somebody is like driven crazy by that and super annoyed, then they're like, I'm not calling this guy. This too annoying, too obnoxious, too over the top, too much energy, whatever. Great. We probably wouldn't be a great fit together. So by creating any kind of a video where you're not just like reading from a script, but you're just being you. And like on a sales call, you're hopefully not reading on a script, referencing maybe a script, but you're just like talking from your heart, the thing that you know, your expertise, do that. People can kind of get a sense of like your personality. And that's so important in the world today. If you've just got an AI avatar that's like talking about your process and doing all your FAQs, that's like informational, and that information is helpful. But man, if I can feel any kind of a connection, whether I like you more or less, that can save you a lot of time too. And it also can help you land more of your ideal clients.
Hold on. This one is so good, even I'm taking notes. Listen, are you a CEO, founder, or corporate executive ready to fix your market obscurity problem and gain the market eminence you know you and your company deserve? Cool. Book your private Market Eminence Roadmap call with me, and let's see what might be possible for you. The link is simple. doitmarketing.com/call. See you over there. Now, I gotta get back to taking more notes. So the FAQ videos is one. Talk about, and this is, I think, foundational to everything. And I think so many people skip over this step and they just go, okay, we want some videos. We want some content videos. We want some sales videos. You do something called the Storyline Workshop. Tell me about the Storyline Workshop and how did that idea evolve and what is it? What's the current format of it today?
Well, it started because of all of the mistakes that I had made. I would have a conversation. I would have a discovery call with a client. I would think I knew what they wanted. And the worst story that I can share, there was this K through 12 school that hired me for a project, and they were having their big gala event. And I'm like, okay, they wanted to highlight 2 different stories. And so I'm like, yeah, I got it. Okay. So we do these interviews, we start creating this stuff. And then I get this creative block. This is probably a decade ago. I get a creative block. So then I hire another guy to come help me, like, hey, just help rescue the story. Like, I just need a fresh set of eyes on this thing. He helped me. We put this beautiful edit together, but the problem was we were behind. I was behind on schedule. And so oh God, this is so terrible. A lot has changed since this experience, okay?
Do not be alarmed, friends. Do not be alarmed.
I knew the event date. I gave them the video on the day before, probably the end of day before the event. So there was no time for revisions. What I said was, hey, play this at the event, and then we can continue to make 2 rounds of revisions. That's what we normally do. So we'll make those after the event, but you've got your video for the event. Well, the superintendent was not happy at all. It wasn't the vision that she had. There was misunderstanding, miscommunication. I thought I was supposed to be the creative person, and she was trusting me to do that, but she had a different vision. And so I didn't ask enough clarifying questions on the front end. So shortly thereafter, I had a friend who was an EOS implementer, and he said, hey, I would love to take you through EOS stuff, and went through EOS stuff. I read Traction, changed my life, changed my business, changed all this stuff. And then he said, hey, I would love for you to help me figure out, I want to do this video. And I'm like, I don't know if that's the right video for you. And so we were talking back and forth, and I was like, hey, how about the same way you just did a consultant thing with me? How about I do that for you, and I can just unpack a lot more about where you're going with this business and like the things that you want. And then we can say, these are the videos, or this is the video that you need versus the one that you're telling me that you think you need. And he said, okay, how much? And I was like, how much did he charge me for the same amount that you charge me? He's like, okay. And it was like $2,500. And he said, yeah. And he paid me. And I'm like, wait, so now I have to figure out, what am I going to talk about in this like workshop thing? So we did a 2-hour workshop. I was stressing. He's a friend, so I there was a lot of trust there, but I'm just like, he's going to think this is a joke. I take him through all the stuff. Afterward, I just kind of come up with, I call it a blueprint now, but here's the blueprint of what I think you need. And my first thing was like, I don't think you need video right now. I think you should start a podcast, and it could be a video podcast and do this different stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. This is so helpful. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe there's something here. So that was 2018. I think I did my first workshop. The beautiful thing about offering this workshop, so when somebody comes to us and says, hey, we need a brand video, or we need this or that, I know the questions to ask to really understand, why do they think they need that? Are they open to considering, do they need a creative partner, or are they planning on all the creative decisions in the story, driving the story and all that? Or do they want to link arms with somebody who can do that? Once I know that, then I know, okay, this is like my client from 10 years ago. They want to call the shots. They want to do things. Great. My team we can follow directions and this will be easy. Yeah. Otherwise, if you need to lean on us, if you want to lean on us for getting the right soundbite, for knowing what shots to get, for all of that stuff, then we're going to start with a workshop. We're going to do the workshop. It's going to help inform the piece. My team's going to have very clear marching orders. You're going to be very, very clear. If you think the workshop's terrible, I'm going to give you your money back. Nobody's asked for their money back, but we finally have this money back guarantee. And now the pieces that we're creating, our clients feel like creative partners in this. My team feels like, oh, we've got everything that we need. So it's not just selfishly for my team, but also for the client to say, like, if this was the video on paper, this makes sense, and clients are happier, the product is better, and the process is just like so much easier, and expectations are met, and all of that stuff. So grateful that we have that step before we jump into a huge project for our clients.
Yes, and it's so brilliant. I mean, it's like monetizing the front end of what you do. So because you would need to do all this research anyway. You 100%. Just kind of, take a little butcher knife and go chop. Here's the part after you pay us, and a lot of money. Why don't we take that little segment, put it at the front of the process, pay us a little bit of money, and then the other brilliant thing that you do is you apply 100% of that fee to the larger project. So for people who become clients, that workshop was free, or it was included. Let's say it was included.
Right.
And then they also have this brilliant concept of, I've already paid Ryan and his team $2,500. I'm really happy. If I paid him a lot more money, I'd be that much happier, because then it would bring the whole vision to life, and then we'd have these amazing video assets. So what are some of the other favorite kinds of work that you do? I made you go through FAQ and the workshop, but what is your very favorite kind of work, and what are some of the things that people listening might not be thinking of to add to their video portfolios?
I think the easiest one outside of FAQs, the second easiest one, I can talk about how great Tell Studios is and how great our videos are and how they help your business. But when I have a client that says those things, how we were able to help them, that goes a lot farther than me, right? It's like when we watch any infomercial, if it's a paid actor or if it's the CEO, or it's like, of course that person's going to say all of those things. But like, let's take me to the Amazon reviews. What do they really say here? And I think that there are so many happy clients that we've serviced, and I say we, like collectively, like everybody that's listening, that have stories of how they were helped. Most of the time, the testimonials, the social proof that we get is stuff like, oh, Ryan and his team were great to work with. David is such a nice guy, so professional, on time. That's like bare minimum, right? That stuff doesn't move the needle. As a business owner or as a person that is fiscally responsible, you want to know, like, what's the ROI on this, or what's the potential? Tell me what has worked for your other clients. Have you actually saved them time? Have your videos help them make money? Do they have more web visitors? Are people on their website longer? Like, show me some data. So as I've dug more into this, I realized, like, oh, since day one, we've been telling these proof stories, these testimonials, transformation stories, chatting with your clients and really trying to understand what was life like before working with us and what is life like now, since working with us. We know it's not perfect, but how are things better? And trying to not just get you're great to work with, but what was the transformation? How is your business? How's your life different and better because of, like, what are the results? Yeah. Because, like, in our original conversation, when you were on my show, people don't buy the video, right? They buy what the video does for them, the result. And getting transformation stories that can touch on the result. And some people aren't comfortable talking about the actual dollars or anything like that, but if they can say, yes, we made more money because we did this video or we did this project than we would have otherwise, that is helpful data. Those stories are really, really powerful. And for me, I love conversations where people want to know video, they want to be educated, they're interested in doing a video, and I love to tell them why. But I know that it's going to be way more powerful and way more effective if I have our people, our past clients telling those stories. That closes clients way faster than me telling, oh, trust me, just trust me. You should hire us. It's going to be great.
I'm curious because one of your other specialties is master classes and digital courses. Now, if you're a speaker, consultant, business book author, this makes sense. I'd love to ask you, Ryan, who are some of the surprising industries or the surprising professions that came to you for a master class and a digital course that you might not right away think, oh, well, they definitely would have a digital course. That makes perfect sense.
One of the most recent ones we did was I'm going to get the pronunciation. Somebody who puts pets to sleep so that you can operate on them. Anesthetist, like
anesthesia, sure.
Yeah, that thing. So yeah, it was an entire course for people that are in that industry that want to do that work.
Oh, my goodness.
She teaches workshops and things at the local college and whatever, but she's also traveled. And for her, it was like, I want to be able to package this and put this into something. My favorite one is this woman, Susan. So almost 10 years ago, in my production business, I'm speaking on stages for filmmakers and have built this beautiful community of filmmakers that are doing the same kind of work that I do. And it's like, was it Rising Tide Raises All Ships or something like that? I started more formally educating that industry. And then that's where my podcast was born. And then eventually I created my own digital course and started marketing that and realizing like, holy crap, like there's a huge potential of financial reward here if I'm educating people. And so we had done a couple $100,000 in digital course sales. This is back in like 2017, 2018. And Susan came to me. She's a florist. And she said, hey, I want to stop traveling. My kids are growing up and I want to be home more. I'm traveling all over the world. I want to film a digital course. I'm like, hey, cool. Come to our studio. We'll do this thing. This is how much it's going to cost. She's like, that's great. And then I said, wait, what are you going to do with it once I give it to you? And she's like, well, I haven't gotten that far. And I said, well, how about we build your website and we manage your Facebook ads and we do all the marketing, we film your stuff, we edit it. You just come to the studio, you do your thing, and we're going to take care of all the stuff. And she was like, is that a thing? And I said, yeah, it's a thing. Let's make it a thing. And so today, she has sold, since us working together, over $2 million in these like $97, let me show you how to make a hair flower or a wrist corsage.
Oh my goodness.
So it's changed her life. I reached out to her a few months ago and I just said, hey, just checking in. Is this still going, the way that you hoped? And because we have a 50-50 rev share. And I want to just make sure that she's happy because it is a beautiful relationship. Her response was like, Ryan, like this has changed everything for me and my husband and our family. So that probably is like one of the coolest relationships that I've been able to kind of form and create these like, these amazing floral structures and all the stuff that I'm like, before I had like no interest in, but seeing what she does, seeing this expert like step in and make this stuff, I'm like, wow. And she is a teacher at heart. She cares about her students. It's been a pretty cool experience for me.
That is amazing. Wow. All of those stories, totally surprising. Like, yeah, you wouldn't think that these people have a digital course or are monetizing their expertise in that way. Now, we can't talk about video without talking about YouTube, social media videos, all of that jazz. A lot of people look at those kinds of videos as, oh, that's homebrew. I'll just do that on my computer. I'll just, I'll record a webinar. I'll do like just a straight on camera video. I'm going live on Facebook. I'm going live on LinkedIn. I'll repurpose those. Tell us a little bit. I mean, so people are doing that and good for them. What is the role of professionally produced video as far as your content marketing, building out your YouTube channel, or other ways to use the video as value-added content to your audience?
Well, like I said, I would love for everybody to hire a professional video production team called Tell Studios, but in so many ways, and this is so different,
but it's also just, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's also, it's not an either or, it's a yes and.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
100%.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
So let me just say my favorite kind of videos that we do are brand stories. And this is where we get to the heart and soul of a brand. So if you're a speaker, if you're an author, if you're an expert in whatever field, your story is your differentiator. And if you haven't told your story, if you're not leveraging your story, then when I've got 3 people to choose from, I might buy all of your books, but I can't invite all of you to speak on my stage. So I'm going to reach out to the person that I feel most connected with. And the way to create connection is through your story, right? I mean, vulnerable, honest, open, like here's who I am, here's the struggles, frustrations that I've experienced. And so we create these 2 to 7-minute mini documentaries where we really tried to bring out the humanness of the person or of the brand, because people want to work with people, not brands, not AI, all that stuff. So Amen. That being the case, brand videos being the thing, that is where I would say you really should consider hiring a professional storyteller that can get to the heart, that's good at interviewing, that's good at pulling out authenticity and emotion and empathy and all that stuff. When you have that, like that as your flagship piece, then having that in conjunction with selfie mode, I'm shooting, I'm walking down the sidewalk, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm eating lunch or whatever. Those things in tandem work so stinking well together. But for most people, when they're starting out, it's like, I can't afford a brand video. Like, Ryan, like this costs like 10,000, this costs 20,000. Like, holy cow, like this is a lot of money. Okay, well, let's start smaller. And, we're in a trust recession currently, and showing up as you is one of the best and most important things that you can do. So I love good lighting. I love good cameras that have, make the background look all blurry. I love all that stuff. If you can't afford it, it's like too techy or whatever. The world doesn't need it. As much as I want to say, like, we can make this look better. Like, David, I got some suggestions on how to make the light softer in here. It's like, at the end of the day, you being you, if we showed up at Starbucks together, we met at Starbucks, the environment is what it is. It's about us connecting with each other, right? And trying to like not pay attention to what's around us. And a good concept, a good story, whatever it is, whatever your expertise is, when you're showing up in true fashion to share that with the desire of helping somebody, right? Not the desire of like getting them to hire you, even though I've said that a couple of times, but that's not my point. My point is really just, that's how, I'm just, whatever. I'm just a goofball. I embrace that. That it is what it is. Totally. But when you can do that, the connection that you can create. So sitting at your desk without the stuff and just showing up and saying, hey, I know this does. I follow a couple of people on YouTube and their videos look amazing, but I really feel this calling that I got to share this message, this thing that's inside of me. I care about it so much. I can't wait any longer. I keep putting it off. I keep saying, like, once I get this many subscribers, or once I get, this equipment, or once I feel more comfortable in the framework that I'm still developing, then I'll show up. And the problem is we wait too long. And I was challenged a few years ago by some friends and mentors of mine. I was getting ready to launch another course, and they were just like, dude, you've been talking about this course for over a year. Why haven't you done it? And I was, just like excuse after excuse. And they said, don't you think that once that course is out there that it's going to help people? I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, that's why I want to do it. And they're like, okay, well, how about the longer you delay this, the fewer people you can help? And I was like, oh, okay, I need to get the heck out of my own way and just do it. We get in our own way. We care too much about what we look like, what we sound like, all of the things. And we end up helping a lot less people that could really benefit from us showing up. And certainly there are people that are way ahead of you that look and sound way better than you. Yeah. And there's people behind you. But there's a certain group of people that are going to be drawn to you and that want access to you. And so to keep comparing yourself to the people that are steps ahead of you, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. Sure. Grow, get better at what you do. Maybe it's fine to dream about being on a stage like that one day, but like right now you have a stage. Are you willing to get on it and to serve the, the 1 or the 3 or the 5 that are in front of you right now?
Yeah. What a powerful kick in the butt. That's really, really great.
Grateful for that.
So perhaps the most important question that I have for you, Ryan, how important is lens flare?
I knew you were going somewhere like that. Oh man, it's vital. If you don't have lens flare,
critical.
Let's see if I can add a little bit. Here.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. That's good.
But it's funny because when we were in the prime of our wedding filmmaking days, they kept coming out with these little presets that you could add to your video to do little filters and all this stuff. And oh my gosh. There was a season where it's like, hey, if you're not using silk stocking filter, man, your video, like nobody's going to like it. It's like, oh man, or if you're not using slow-mo or any of that stuff. It's like, no, it's all about the story.
Wait. We're not just going to listen to this episode. There are downloads, there are resources, there are links, there are bonuses waiting for you on this episode's page when you go over to doitmarketing.com/podcast. That's right, doitmarketing.com/podcast. Grab the notes right under this episode. See you over there. Well, you have adventures in podcasting and you have adventures in publishing soon to come. Tell me about your podcast and this whole other side of the business that you've mentioned already, which is grow your video business, where you are then reaching back to other people that are videographers, have video production companies, and you're sharing some success secrets and how to build a great business around their talent. How did that germinate and what has that evolved into today?
As a creative, as a filmmaker, just as me, have struggled with perfectionism for a long time. So I haven't launched a lot of things because I'm like, well, it's not perfect. And then imposter syndrome, just knowing that there are people that I follow that I adore and just why am I going to start a podcast? Why am I even thinking about starting a YouTube channel? There's so much good stuff out there already. And so rewind to like 2015, I was going to events and speaking to filmmakers and building a community of friends. And here in the Detroit area, I led a group of probably 30 or 40 video production people. We would meet once a month. I would bring in educators. And I've made a ton of mistakes in running this business. I love being a creative, but I really, really like the entrepreneur and the business side of things. And so in the world of filmmakers, these guys are doing amazing work, but then they look at me and they're like, you charged how much for that? And your revenue is how much this year? Like, how did you do that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, have you thought about this, and this, or charging this much instead of that? And they're like, and looking at people like leaning in and like, I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. So eventually my buddy Matt and we were filming a wedding together in 2015. And he's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting back into coaching video people. And I was like, when you did that, I was so mad because I was like, I wanted to do that too. And as soon as you stepped into it, I was like, okay, I'm not getting in that space because Matt's doing it. What would you think if I did it with you? And Matt was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, are you serious? He's like, yeah, let's do this. And so we launched this thing. Like we had a lot of wedding filmmakers that we were already friends with. And, I had a handful of people in corporate video. And so we kind of launched with like, hey, we're gonna do a course. It's gonna be a live course. And we did this course and 10 people bought it, and we're like, we just made some money. And then we're like, okay, how are we going to market this thing? And we're like, hey, let's start a podcast. And so we started podcasting, started having guests on, friends in the industry. And for me, I made the time to do it. This was like such good learning opportunity for me. Plus I was like, man, I'm being rewarded for some of the time that I'm investing in this community. Matt eventually left the business, but we to this day, he's in my mastermind currently. So he pays me every month to hang out with me and the people that I've curated. So we have a very healthy relationship after all these years of having this business together for, I don't know, we were together for about 2 years. And that work is so fun and so fulfilling because I'm working with business owners directly, especially the mastermind that I lead, to be able to, share, here's what's working, here's what's not, bringing in experts and having them share stuff, and really just building community and giving people a place to share what's working, what's not. And it's amazing when you build or when you're a part of a smaller community like that, because people, they share their lives. We've had so many tears shared and hard stuff, and also really, really beautiful moments. This year, one of our guys had a baby, him and his wife had a baby. I really see that work as probably the thing. We've made some beautiful films and we have incredible clients, but to be able to work directly with other business owners and help them grow their business, and really give them a place to just be themselves. I didn't realize that that's kind of like one of the things that comes really natural to me, but also is like one of the most fulfilling things that I get to be a part of.
Well, speaking of helping more people, you have some adventures in publishing coming up at some point in 2026. And if you weren't thinking of doing it in 2026, I just made you, because I just thought, my friend Ryan Koral is going to come out with a fantastic new book in 2026, and you need to buy this book. So talk about the book concept, talk about the timeline, what's in the book, and what's exciting about it.
I'm the person that I don't talk about this stuff until I know for sure. Yes. Even though as a documentary storyteller, I'm always telling people, like, just share the journey. Like, people want to know that, but it's my perfectionism. I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like, I have this, like, there's just this thing that I've been fighting. I need to share more of my journey. Even if I say I'm going to do a book and then next year I don't do the book, like, I need to be okay with that. Oh, you're
doing the book. No, Coral's doing the book. Coral's doing the book.
The book is, we're halfway done with the book. So it's really, it's just exciting. The concept is, it's all about story. It's about the importance of your story. If you're a business owner, an expert in your field, and you're not sharing your story, leveraging your story, you're missing out on a massive opportunity to differentiate, to market yourself, to help more people. So it's really like what I've learned. It's the framework that we teach, and stories and examples of somebody who has faced a lot of imposter syndrome, love being on the other side of the camera. Took me a while to get really, really comfortable. And now I'm like probably a little bit too comfortable on camera. But to be able to empower people and say, like, there's somebody that you can help. One of my favorite sayings is your mission is more important than your mug. So get over the things. Just say it's going to be fine. The first video is going to suck. The second one's not going to be much better, but you get to video 10, video 20, and you're going to look back and be like, holy cow, I can't believe how far I've come. But it's just about getting out there, doing the thing. And I hope it inspires a lot of people to share their story.
Wow. Tremendous. Ryan, what is the working title of the book?
Oh, super rough working title. This is probably going to change, I think. Video with Soul.
Oh, very nice.
Something about the underdog advantage, your story, blah, blah, blah. Something like that.
Awesome. Well, as we're landing the plane, I've got a couple final questions for you. The final question is, where can folks go to learn more about you and your brilliance and your resources and courses and all kinds of good stuff? But before we go there, if folks were to take one core idea away from our conversation today about the importance of video as a storytelling, communication, and connection tool, what would you like that core takeaway to be?
I've spent the last, I think, 3 years really trying to productize some of what we offer video-wise. And honestly, in the last 2 weeks, I am doubling down again on the importance of your story. So showing up and creating those connections online, super duper important. That's lo-fi, low tech, really, really easy. Yeah. But if you can get somebody that can help you articulate in a real, raw, authentic way, it's hard to measure. What is the ROI on something like a brand video? Well, what's the ROI on investing in a good logo or a good tagline or a good website? It's hard to really point to that. But your overall brand, if it's done right, man, it can serve you so well for a really, really long time. And not only that, it's like being able to work with people that see you, get you, understand you, feel like, oh man, like this is somebody I would want to hang out with. If you can do that in the form of video, like game over, lights out, like that's just going to be one of the best tools and best assets that you have outside of being in the presence of somebody that you are, wanting to potentially do business with.
Amen. Amen times 10. Where can people go to get connected and stay connected to more Ryan Koral brilliance? What links should go in the show notes?
Yeah. RyanKoral.com. It's Koral. If you go there right now, it needs a little bit of work, but I'm trusting that by the time this episode goes live, it's just going to be cleaned up. But I'm going to,
the website's
from
beautiful.
there,
beautiful.
You can, thanks. You can get to Tell Studios. You can see our production work. I've got a really, I think, helpful assessment if you're wondering how are we using our story, what gaps might there be. You can access that there. And then I have another thing called Proof, which is really these transformation stories, how to tell them, how to hop on a Zoom call. What are the questions that you need to ask of your happy clients to get the kind of responses that are going to move the needle? So all that stuff, if you go to ryankoral.com, you should be able to access that there. I hang out on LinkedIn and a little bit on Instagram and I guess a little bit on Facebook. But yeah, those are probably the best places.
Awesome.
Also my house. If you showed up here, I'd probably be like,
yeah, if you hang out at your house. Well, we are going to put all those links except not your house address.
Thank you.
All the rest of those links will be directly under this episode at thesellingshow.com. Ryan Koral, you are a rock star. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing all that wisdom with us.
David, you're a gem. I appreciate you having me on the show and trusting me with your people.
And that wraps up another episode of The Selling Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, tell a friend, go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thesellingshow.com. See you next time.